Welcome to college! It's move-in day and you couldn't be more psyched for your first year. And if you're anything like most people, then you're probably picturing a really fun experience that includes meeting new people from all over the world, pulling all-nighters fueled by multiple Red Bulls to study for big exams, and dumping alcohol down your throat like it's a bottomless pit in a disgusting fraternity house while Fly Like a G6 plays in the background. Maybe you'll even find the love of your life or what your true calling in life is. Smiling at the possibilities, you walk into your room for the first time, but you're hit with a quick reality check. Dirty socks all over the ground, the room smells like a 40-year-old used diaper mixed with cannabis, and there is no sense of organization here. Your roommate, who looks as revolting as the state of the room, slowly approaches you with a devilish smile while you just stand there ready to die, knowing that you're going to have to put up with this for the entire year. It's a tale as old as time, and a bad roommate can single-handedly tank a college experience. So let's talk about it. Let's dig deeper into this by going over some of the roommates you are very likely to encounter in your time at college. So first up is the ghost, and this is just that roommate that, for whatever reason, they just never seem to be physically present in the room. You pretty much only see them when they're asleep or if they're like taking a shower, but other than that, it feels like you just never see them. You know, it feels like things will go missing or will get moved around whenever you come back and then nobody's there, so it just kind of makes you go crazy. And I mean, it's basically a single though, so you're not going to complain, but it is kind of eerie sometimes, you know. It feels like a college dorm room shouldn't be that quiet, you know. That brings us to the second type of roommate, which is the social animal, the complete opposite of the ghost. And this is that roommate that really never gave a crap about the ask before inviting guests rule that you probably had to agree to as part of your roommate agreement at the start of the year. There's just never peace and quiet in this room. It's the complete opposite of the ghost. This person is like a celebrity. It's like they know every single person on your floor. You walk outside with them, they'll probably say hi to like 10 plus people because they just know everybody. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing to be a roommate with this person. It's just, yeah, good luck getting privacy. And then there's the lovebirds. So what I mean by this is just the roommate that always brings their girlfriend or boyfriend over to the room. They never really ask, they just kind of waltz right in there, and then as soon as you hear them or see them come in, you're just like, oh boy, well, I better find an excuse to get out of here. You know, you really don't want to be in the same room as them too long. I mean, you just worry about getting in the way of anything, but mostly you're worried about witnessing any PDA, so you're just trying to get out of there basically. But yeah, it just feels like this significant other of your roommate is like your third roommate. It's kind of strange because you see them so often since they're always there. And that can get kind of annoying, but I suppose you can sort of get used to it. I mean, there's a lot worse roommates coming up on this list. And the next one I wouldn't say is one of them, but still pretty bad to have, and that's the control freak. This is the person that just needs to micromanage every single little thing in their lives. They go to bed early, they wake up early, and they almost force you to adapt to their schedule. They get really pissed if you do just minor little things like eat snacks in the room, or call your family or just anybody for more than a few minutes at a time. Or maybe you just accidentally forget to throw out the trash one time, go like Hulk smash on you, just super angry, even though you didn't really do anything that egregious. So definitely not great, but I mean, deep down these people are just obsessive perfectionists, and you kind of worry that they're going to self-implode or something, you know. It's like a more extreme version of Candace from Phineas and Ferb. Now our next roommate is the uptight academic. So this person is only in one of three places. You're going to find them in the dorm, the classroom, or the library. You're not going to see them anywhere else. And they might go to the dining halls to eat sometimes, I guess, because they kind of have to eat, but other than that, yeah, those are the three places you're going to see them, and just the grind never stops with this person. And, I mean, you gotta respect it and everything, but this person could really use a fun night out, you know. You almost want to just kind of nudge them and be like, hey, you know, let's go do something fun tonight. You've been working your tail off the whole week. I mean, I feel like you deserve it, but then they'll just look you in the eyes and be like, nah, I gotta study for this, I gotta study for that. You kind of worry about them a little bit. But they're definitely not a bad roommate to have. I mean, you can count on them to be organized, responsible, all that, so definitely not the worst roommate. But now we get to a really, really bad roommate, and that's the Discord mod. I'm fortunate enough to have never really had a roommate like this, but I know some of my friends have had this sort of roommate, and you already know what this roommate is like. They're fat, they're obnoxious, they're loud, and they smell worse than an adult diaper that's been shit in. I mean, they spend all their time inside with the lights out playing like Valorant or League of Legends or Counter-Strike or something like that, and you would pretty much rather live on the streets, in peace at least, than live with this dorky, slimy Jabba the Hutt of a human being. I mean, good luck ever successfully inviting a girl over too if you're a guy. You know, like, with this guy around 24/7, I'm not going to leave a very good first impression. So yeah, I really hope none of you end up with this kind of roommate, but they're unfortunately more common than you would think. So next we have the megaphone, and I've had this roommate, all my friends have had this roommate, and just the roommate that makes way too much noise. You know, it's the kind of person that maybe they call up a friend late at night and they're just kind of yelling at each other back and forth, and you tell them to keep it down, and they barely lower their voice level at all, you know, like they go from screaming super loud to screaming just a little bit softer, you know, like it's not really much of a change in any way. They're definitely a snorer as well, like there's 100% correlation there, so just buy earplugs or something, I guess. And next is literally one of the worst roommates you could possibly have, and that's the wannabe DJ. So this is the one that just takes it upon themselves to fill all the silence in the room. And they do that by blasting music 24/7. It's usually not very good music, as you can imagine. And they definitely bought like neon lights and like a disco ball just so they can throw like those crappy dorm parties with a bunch of their fellow house music enthusiasts, and they're just gonna like bash their bodies into each other like they're at some rave and just get super drunk and probably high, and it's just a nightmare for you. I mean, it feels like you have to spend as much time out of the room as you can, because when you walk in it's like a nightclub and you don't want to walk back from class to a nightclub. You want to lay on your bed, relax, chill. You don't want to be around all of this, you know. So I would honestly take the megaphone as a roommate over the wannabe DJ, because wannabe DJ literally makes me want to commit a homicide. And that'll bring us to the bartender, which is like an infinitely better version of the wannabe DJ. They don't play the music, they still have like the drinks and stuff, but they're usually like super chill, you know, and they'll share drinks with you, and if they're actually gonna throw something, they're probably gonna ask you, and they might even invite you to join. I mean, they tend to be way more chill in my experience. And it's just kind of funny though, because even as a freshman, it's like these guys are just like, what do they call it, like mixologists, you know? They know exactly how to mix and create any drink you can imagine, and this is like an 18-year-old kid, you know? And they could be like a pro bartender like anywhere, it feels like. And second to last, we have the slacker, and this person is just the epitome of burnout. I mean, for whatever reason, the senioritis just hits them right away, you know. Freshman year, day one, they're already extremely tired, lazy, and unwilling to do anything that requires any sort of physical effort or mental effort. And they're probably close to failing all their classes. They're likely a stoner for sure, so that's gonna stink up the room. And they always leave their clothes on the floor and maybe food uneaten at their desks. And it just feels like you're rooming with like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, except it's like a way worse version of him, you know? Definitely not the kind of roommate you want. But with that being said, we're on to the best roommate you could possibly have, and also our last one. That's the actually normal roommate. So I know this list has seemed kind of scary up to this point for a lot of you guys that are going into college, but they're not all going to be terrible roommates. You're actually going to come across some well-adjusted, friendly, clean, responsible, normal people. And most of the time, this is who's going to be your roommate. I wouldn't put it at like a 90% rate or anything like that. At least half the time, this is going to be your roommate. So you really have nothing to worry about, in my opinion. And for the most part, if you do end up with a terrible roommate, a lot of schools have roommate switch programs or just ways to get yourself out of that situation. So the world is not over if you get a terrible roommate. Just remember that. With that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment below, and tell me your worst roommate experience. I'd be super curious to know.